So, BadCounty.com, interesting story. You were at a business meeting on May 28th, Josephine County. And you sit there with your dangerous camera and you film what's going on. And there was a very interesting exchange when it came to what was going on with free speech. Could you tell us, or at least set the story, Dale?
One of the candidates for county commissioner was given permission by the Daily Courier, the not-so-Daily Courier in our area, to do an opinion piece. And they said, you can write an opinion piece, but you can't criticize the commissioners.
Oh, okay. No, hold on. So you have someone you can write an opinion piece, you can put it in the Daily Courier, you can write an opinion piece, but you can't express an opinion contrary to what's going on with the Josephine County Commission. So the question for me to you then is, why the hell bother? Why would you run for office if you're not going to criticize what's going on there?
The Daily Courier is the protector of the current system. That made it absolutely clear.
Okay.
So here at BadCounty.com, what I resolved to do for the election is contact every candidate and make sure, even Simon Hare, and make sure that they know where the various venues are. At one time, there was like 35 different things you could go to and speak and be seen and tell your opinion. I called all of them every week to get them up to speed with what their opportunities were. It just seemed like the right thing to do. I like to have lots of voices out there. You make up your mind.
Sure.
And so one of the places I called to find out what they were going to do is the Josephine County Fairgrounds, because they are a place where one can go and speak, not at the fair, that's too late. The primary is over by then, but other events they were having. And I talked with the interim director out there, and she said, oh, sure, they can rent a table. Some of our events, they can come and they can sit outside, okay, and then offer the material. Great, thanks. And there's a small fee. Okay, that's great. Oh, by the way, they won't be able to have any material that, see if this sounds familiar, criticizes the commissioners. And I said,
okay, no, wait a minute. So you can pay for the space, you can rent some space, you can be on the fairgrounds, but you can't say anything against the existing regime. Right?
Yes, I said, but Mary, how are they supposed to run for office? Well, they could say positive things about themselves. There were 9 people running for county commissioner. If you're going to compare and contrast your own policies with those of your fellows and the current people that are in office, you're going to need to draw some comparisons. You're going to need to say something. You're going to need to...
And generally speaking, a lot of those comparisons aren't going to be too good, because otherwise you wouldn't be running.
What kind of campaign would that be?
Well, it would be a ridiculous campaign. So where is this stemming from? Is this a new development, or is it just the good old boy network in Josephine County is getting ever more sensitive and circling the wagons? What do you say?
I think you've got it there. Remember when the commissioner said, we put out these ordinances, these wonderful ordinances, and everybody is begging us, I'm not making this up, to please don't have a voter's pamphlet. Oh, please, please, no voter's pamphlet, because then we would be exposed to ideas from other people other than government, and what chaos would result.
And besides, they know what the people need to know.
That's what they said. They actually said, not only do we know that, we know that people don't want a voter's pamphlet. Then when the voter's pamphlet finally came out, those people that had something negative to say, the ordinances that went down by 80%, by the way, all 4 of them went down. There were 16 arguments against the ordinances. Guess how many there were for? 0.
None.
No arguments for. Only the government's official version.
Okay. So
you see a trend?
Yeah, I do. This is a classic example. This is a perfect example in which you say, okay, yeah, you can run for county commission, you can run against us, but if you're on this property, you can't say anything bad about us. What? What kind of a government is that? What kind of a United States government, I guess I should say?
What kind of newspaper is that?
I really question, though, the county fair and the fair board saying that, well, yeah, you can rent space here, you can pay your fee, you can distribute campaign materials, but you can't say anything bad about the county. What? I have more problem with that. Not that I'm happy with the Daily Courier. I'm not saying that, but that it is, ostensibly a private business. They're not doing their job very well, in my opinion, if they say that we'll take an opinion piece, but you can't express a negative opinion about the county government.
I encounter this almost every day, at least once a week when we're given our one small chance to address our government. Mm-hmm. And then they interrupt you, or they literally call you nasty names in public, or they belittle you, or they cut you off. Now, so people say, well, why would you bother? Because honestly now, the truth is that every time they do it, except for maybe some recalcitrant members of the Rotary Club who think that's great, people look at this and they go, they're not acting fairly. Even small children can say, this just doesn't seem right. Mm-hmm. And the more they do that, the tighter they squeeze around that sand, the more of it drips out of their fingers.
Is there some kind of, unbeknownst to me, county ordinance which says on county property nobody can say bad things about the county?
No, and if there was...
Hey, listen.
No.
Listen, Cheryl Walker, you were telling us about a couple of months ago, was talking about the amazing magic rules which she formulated on the spot. It said that the little mini camera that Sandy Casanelli was holding on her lap was somehow a danger to the public out there.
She made up a bunch of rules. Another one was you cannot criticize a government official who is not physically in the room while you're speaking.
Okay, so nobody gets any criticism as long as they just don't show up, right?
Well, they can show up, but then they get out the door real quick before your chance to speak, and then you can't speak about what they just said because they're not in the room.
Sounds like you got a mess in your hands there, Dale.
So what we do at BadCounty.com, you can see this video that you're talking about. You can see it at the top of BadCounty.com. I usually have 3 big pictures and then the whole library of 500-plus videos of what the county commissioners actually do that you won't be able to hear on KJO radio or in the newspaper, our newspaper. Uh-huh. And then just go click on that one in the upper left-hand corner, and you can see for yourself what's being said. I'm just about to put up another one. And this is about Gatlin. I had gotten up at the Budget Committee, and I said, well, here's what's happened with Public Works and how just before the investigators arrived, and I was with them operating a camera, that they were switching the tags on the vehicles. Switching the tags. Now, why would they do
Why
that?
would they be switching tags on government vehicles?
Well, they said there are certain vehicles that need to be replaced, and so the idea was to go down there with permission from the commissioners and look at the vehicles and see why. Well, before we arrived, they were changing the vehicles.
They were switching the vehicles. What were they trying to? Were they trying to deceive the people about what vehicles needed to be replaced?
I'll let your listeners decide. So interesting thing is, right after I'm done, Mark Gatlin, current city councilor for Grants Pass, current commissioner candidate, gets up and without looking at the tape, without seeing the report, without talking to me, says it's scurrilous and it's insane. That's what it was. Uh-huh. But this scholar hadn't looked at the tape, hadn't talked with me, so where is he? This is the kind of commissioner he would be. The reason I bring this up is because I've got documents, I've got eyewitnesses, I've got videotape, and so when I speak, especially when it's something controversial, I'm future-proofed against the commissioners and what they might object to. But then there's always someone who's going to say, oh, well, that's all false, it's all made up. It is an uphill battle.
I know. Well, I'm glad you're out there taking the pictures, taking the video, and letting us know about this. Dale, we always appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All righty, 828. Get your marching orders there. I'll post a video or two of his today on my blog, also, I should say. 828 today on 1440 KMED.